Hi, so Charlie giving you Wednesday's update, and I hope you're very well. We haven't been doing these Wednesday updates for quite a while, actually, most of this year, I think, and so I apologise for that, but it's just been a very hectic first couple of months or so to the year. So, anyway, let's get back into doing these short updates, and today I wanted to focus on the use of stops because Kim and I have been out and about a bit lately over the last month or two, and we then get to hear about people promoting not using stops. And I do think that it's pretty crazy to promote not using stops. I think it's irresponsible because most traders, it's not to say that you can't trade without stops if you've got a very strong and are very experienced as a trader and a strong mindset. But the problem is that most traders don't have that level of experience in their first, at least in their first few years. And so all that happens is they don't use stops. They then get into a bad habit because they don't use stops. And then at some point when they say, oh, well, I'll use a mental stop, right, okay, I'm going to use a mental stop. And let's say it's going to be, if it breaks this low, then I'll close out. And this is a classic example, fun enough, here on the 5-minute chart from earlier today, where if you were using a mental stop, well, you never would have been able to then manually execute through this flush that happened here on the ADP employment figures. So all that would have happened was you wouldn't have managed to get out at that level. You would have got out somewhere down here. So then you're taking a huge amount of slippage by using mental stops. And what if it had carried on going further? And what if it was an even more magnified move? And that's how people end up eventually blowing their accounts, because it gets all the way down here and then they say, oh no, I'm really underwater now, I didn't really want to be like this, I'll wait and see if it comes back up. And then of course sometimes you get away with that, and that teaches you a bad habit because you get away with it and you're like, oh phew, yeah, I got away with that one. But then another time it happens and it won't happen, and the market will just go down again and again, and all that happens is then you're sitting in a situation which you don't want to be in, all because someone told you not to use stops. And the reason people tell you not to use stops is because it can give their strategies bigger win rates, and but it's just irresponsible. And there certainly, when you get to certain sizes in the markets, then you really get into hundreds of lots of position size, then there are arguments for not using stops, but you would have stops held on your broker's server, but then maybe not placed into the market. But for the average retail trader, that's never going to be an issue. And so please use stops, because they're there for a reason. The market is not out to get you. With your £5 a point trade, £10, £20 a point trade, the market is not seeing your stops and going down for them. It's a conspiracy theory. So you not using stops, all it's going to do is create bad habits, and at some point all you're going to do is take a big loss on your account. So I don't like it when I hear about promotion of not using stops, but those are my views on it. I welcome any of yours. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your week. I am back Friday. Obviously, we were away. I was away last week. I was in Bangladesh. But this Friday, back for live trading. And so I'll see you then.